Hi everyone, I'm Abigail. This is Khalifa, and welcome to another Two Kids interview.
We are joined today by horror film director Rob Savage.
Mr. Savage was a teenager when he made his first full-length film, Strings.
He's also known for his horror films Host, Dashcam, and The Boogeyman, which is in theaters now.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys. I loved your interview. Your review of Boogeyman.
Thank you.
Thank you. When we saw the Boogeyman, I was terrified. Why do you like scaring people?
Because it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I have such fun sitting in a cinema. I remember being a kid watching horror movies in the cinema and everyone jumping at the same time and everyone holding their breath at the same time. And I just felt from when I was your age that I wanted to make people feel that way. It's almost like riding a roller coaster. You know, there's fun in the fear when you do it with a group of people. What was your scariest bit?
Um, the part where the teeth came out of her throat, that was so
Yeah.
Oh
scary,
yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
that's a good one.
The Boogeyman was the first horror film that I saw in the theater. It was completely different and amazing. When you see your movie in the theater, are you watching to see if the audience jumps when you expect them to?
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. So when you're sitting in a theater full of people, you can always tell if your movie is working. You just look at the back of people's shoulders and you can tell when the scares start, the shoulders just start to tense up and rise. And then you get such a thrill when you see them jump. We did test screenings for this movie, and the first time we ever showed it to anyone, I was sat there at the back, I was biting my nails, I was so nervous. And it was amazing. The first couple of jump scares really worked, and people were screaming, and it was just an amazing feeling. Yeah,
I bet that made you very happy.
very happy.
On this film, you worked with a very talented child artist, Vivian Lyra Blair.
Did she get scared at all during filming?
Or does the scary stuff put in afterwards?
Mostly the scary stuff is put in afterwards. So our creature was completely done in VFX. It was me with a monster head on a stick, basically making monster sounds and trying to scare the cast. And they had to use their imaginations a lot to fill in those blanks. But we do this thing called ADR, which is where, if you need a line of dialogue afterwards, you get the actor in and they record it into a microphone and then you put it in the movie. Um, we got Vivian down to do some ADR lines of dialogue. And by that time, we'd edited the movie and we had the monster in the film. Um, we had to get her screaming in reaction to the monster. And the first time she saw the monster on screen, she got so scared she wouldn't look at the screen for the rest of the time. She had to turn away, and I just had to just describe what was on screen while she recorded the rest of the dialogue.
Stephen King is a legend. What did it mean to you to bring one of his stories to the big screen?
Oh, it was huge. It was really scary and intimidating and exciting. It was one of the reasons I wanted to make this movie. Is I remember reading Stephen King very young and reading this story and getting really terrified by it. And so I wanted this to feel like it deserved to be talked about in the same sentence as some of those other classic Stephen King movies like The Shining and Pet Sematary. Um, and also I wanted him to like it. So when he saw the movie and loved it and sent such a lovely message about how much it had scared him, we managed to make a movie that scared Stephen King, which is mind blowing. Um, that was the biggest and most beautiful moment on this film is when Stephen saw it and loved it.
Is there another Stephen King story you'd like to do make into a movie?
Oh yeah, so many. The one that I'm rereading one at the moment called The Langoliers, which is a great kind of sci-fi horror short story that he wrote, which I really want to make into a movie. There was a TV show maybe 20 years ago, but I think I can do better. So I want to do that one next.
You probably can, because your movie was very good.
Thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
What director has influenced your work the most?
You know what? all sorts. I like all sorts of movies, and when I'm making a movie, sometimes I'll reference obvious ones. Like one of the filmmakers that I was looking at a lot for this was James Wan, who made all the Conjuring movies and Insidious and all these great terrifying modern horror movies. And then there are filmmakers like Lynn Ramsey, who is a kind of is a Scottish art house director, very very weird small movies. Um, and I kind of watch everything, and then it all somehow ends up in the Boogeyman and the movies that I make somewhere, even if nobody can really see it.
That's really cool.
What advice would you have for kids who want to make movies?
I think the best thing you can do is just pick up a camera and start making stuff and watch a lot of movies. The way that I figured out how movies are made and why certain choices are made is I would basically see a movie like for me it was Psycho. Psycho was one of the first horror movies I ever saw. And it terrified me and I wanted to know why it scared me so much. And so what I would do is me and my friends would shoot scenes from Psycho and replicate all the camera angles. And then I'd figure out, oh, he's putting the camera here because it makes me feel a certain way, or he's putting the camera here so I can't see the person's face and it creates a mystery. And I started to kind of unpick why directors make certain decisions and also just find a group of people who are creative and who want to make movies as well, and you'll all inspire each other.
Most horror films are rated R, so we can't watch them. Was it important to you to keep it PG-13 so more people could watch it?
Yeah, it was important, especially a movie called The Boogeyman. I mean, The Boogeyman is the thing that we're all afraid of as a kid. You know, even if we don't call it the Boogeyman is the thing that lives in the darkness or under our bed in the basement. We all know it's there as a kid, and then we grow out of it as an adult. Well, some of us do. I don't. But the I wanted this to be. I mean, it means a lot to me that this was your first horror movie in the cinema. I wanted people to have that experience. Um, I wanted this to be a movie that you could watch as a kid and an adult and get different things from it, but all have that same communal experience of being on the roller coaster.
Yeah, it was very thrilling. I was scared, but I was excited at the same time, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you ever want to do a movie that wasn't a horror film?
Yeah, maybe, but I think horror movies are so much fun. You get to pretend to be a monster and throw blood around and scare people. But at the same time, some of my proudest moments in this movie aren't to do with the monster at all. There are scenes where it's just the father and daughter talking, or some of the character in the movie has lost her mother, and there are some scenes that are sad and poignant, and the actors are so amazing in them, and I have just as much fun doing those scenes. And I think so long as I can make horror movies that have a real heart to them and a real emotion, um, I'll keep scaring people as long as I can.
Finally, it's time for our Turbo 10.
10 rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Number 1. What is your favorite phrase to use?
That's amazing.
2. What is one subject you'd love to learn more about?
Languages.
3. What is your favorite go-to snack food?
Peanut butter and jelly.
4. What is your favorite Hitchcock movie?
Rear Window.
Number 5. What's your favorite movie quote?
Nobody's perfect.
6. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
7. What scared you as a kid?
Stephen King.
8. What is your favorite rainy day activity?
Knitting.
9. If you could have any 3 dinner guests, who would they be?
Oh, oh, that's not quick at all. Let me think. It would be Stanley Kubrick, Alfred Hitchcock, and let's say Stephen King again, just because my brain's not working.
10. What's the biggest piece of advice you were ever given?
On a film set, halfway through the day after lunch, change your socks, change your shoes. It makes the afternoon feel like a whole new day. A director told me that once, and I do it on everything I film, and it's changed my life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You did great. Thank you so much for doing that.
And Mr. Savage, thank you for spending this time with us.
We appreciate it so much.
And we can't wait to see your future movies.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.